Yo, what is going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we're back with another movie talk stream on a Friday afternoon. And I'm joined by my co-host, my partner in crime, the Lou Ferrigno Fanboy Club, Varangian Vigilante. What is going on, bro?
Yeah. Finally today we're talking Hercules. So was all week looking forward to this day. Since, as you know me, I love. Basically, I don't think really there's Hercules movies that I don't like.
Here's a time.
And they're all mostly really awesome. This Hercules movie, of course, is very interesting because it was done by Canon Movies, but of course also done in Italy. So by the people that stole Greek mythology and made it down. So actually they should know what they're doing. But of course it's 1983, and 1 year earlier a little movie called Conan the Barbarian crushed the box office, and Canon wanted to have a barbarian movie. And the good thing with Hercules is, since if Hercules existed, it was many decades, thousands of years ago.
And on top of that,
so public domain.
And on top of that, considering Arnold also played Hercules in his first big role.
Yeah, and both were wrestling bears, and this movie takes us a little bit further.
Oh, way further. Hey, that bear got knocked all the way into space, man. It was hilarious.
Yeah. So basically, we're getting a Hercules movie that wants to be a space and sorcery movie with a sword and sorcery feel, but also with parts, of course, of the Greek mythology. So it's a very interesting mix that should work better than it did. It's still a very entertaining movie. I can watch it at any time. It's not always the most coherent movie, which of course is because the director is Luigi Cozzi, or Louis Coates for the US Americans audience. As you know, the Italians always love to give themselves an English American sounding pseudonym, so the movies would sell better over there. But Luigi Cozzi, he also, when he did legendary movies like Star Crash, and he also co-directed one of a movie that I really love, like Nosferatu in Venice with Kinski. And he also did, I think that's something, this movie is unwatchable, but he did the Italian version of Godzilla in his own style. Which I think it's even illegal because, of course, in Japan they banned this thing since it was a re-edited version that is very weirdly colored. But Luigi Cozzi is a movie freak. He loves movies. So everything he did is not only because of money, but it's also a labor of love. The problem with Luigi Cozzi is that his fantasy, his vision is bigger than his talent. So everything that makes sense and looks epic in his mind looks, in my opinion, always a little bit too small screen in the movie. As you see, there's a lot of big scenes in this movie. Also as we already mentioned in the pre-show, we talked about it. The machines they were created, and everything looks a little bit. It looks great in the stills and everything, but in motion, it just looks small.
I definitely felt that, when he's battling the machines, the only one that actually gave him a challenge was the three-headed dragon, where he actually needed assistance to help him.
Exactly. Yeah.
He didn't really come up with a solution on how to defeat the beast, but because of that assistance, he was able to defeat it. But I felt like there wasn't really a challenge to me to really put Hercules' strength to the test.
Exactly. You know, I mean, there were some epic labors on paper, but they don't come across that epic. I still think one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when they came to the River Styx, and Charon was coming over to take them over. I think this was really aesthetically well done. You know how
Yeah.
Charon looked, and the skull, how the River Styx looked, and the whole atmosphere of that scene. So I was really hoping that this movie would be more like that. I love the science fantasy aspect of it, but it was just not done coherent. It was not done in an epic way, even for the budget. Because when you look back, one of my most favorite Hercules movies is by Mario Bava, Hercules at the Center of the Earth. And this is a fantastic mixture of Greek mythology and horror movie. That's also a movie we have to talk in the future. Christopher Lee is in it. So it's a fantastic movie. And Mario Bava, in my opinion, the best director in the world.
Yeah, like the science fiction elements in it, and there's a lot of it. Like for a movie based on Greek mythology, they really like said we're gonna like interject a lot of science fantasy in here, and like the Greek mythology aspect of it is more background. Like it's not at the forefront. You know, we see Zeus, we see Hera, we see Athenes, but they're more background characters and not more like invested into the story. They just like they're the guide Hercules and give him his little trials and stuff.
Yeah, and even to have a sword, that would have been looked ridiculous fantasy-like in a high medieval times, like in an ancient Greek environment where there should have been like a gladius or something.
They definitely was like trying to ape a little bit of the Star Wars with the King Minos' sword being like lightsaber light and stuff. What's up, Two Gun?
Hey, Pedro.
But you know that was like the only like outside the three-headed dragon, that was his fight against Minos was the only challenging fight to him because of that sword.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't count the bear as a fight.
The bear pissed him off by killing the
stepfather,
and he sent him to space. and the funny thing, how is it that he knocks the bear into space and then it creates a little lighting effect, like one of the points of the cosmos and stuff? I'm like, really? Like,
well, that's how the Great Bear was created. I mean,
it was the bear
naturally. Like,
he threw the log into the big wooden log into space, and that created some space show. I'm like, what is going on here?
That scene is just awesome.
Like I felt like they threw some stuff in here that may sound good in his mind, like you said, his fantasy in his mind may sound aesthetically pleasing, but when they put it on screen, it just comes off as cheesy and unnecessary. And one of my gripes was when we talked backstage was the flying chariot scene. Like that scene was like, what the fuck am I watching? This is some psychedelic flying through space. You can see the miniatures on the damn chariot.
Because I love the concept of like binding a fucking stone and then throwing the stone through space and using that as an engine. I mean, the idea behind it is so ridiculously bonkers. So I really wish that the depiction on the screen would truly show what it could. I mean, I still think it's an awesome scene. I love to watch it, but I still wish it would look a little bit more epic than ridiculous.
Yeah, like there's certain things in old movies that it could either look great, cheesy, or just straight up like, nah, that shit don't work. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, when we're watching this film and you see in the battle against the monsters, they're using stop motion, like stop animation and stuff. And we got done last year talking about the Harry Halson films and the Sinbad movies and how great the effects were in those. Here, Not so much.
Yeah, of course, Luigi Cozzi is a big Harryhausen fan. And when you watch Star Crash, which is his take on Star Wars, with David Hasselhoff in it. And Christopher Plummer is also in it. They have an Oscar in there because Christopher Plummer was approached and said, "Oh, 2 weeks vacation in Rome. I'll take it." There's also crazy. Yeah, there's also crazy stop motion in that one. So, like I said, he's not the most skillful movie maker, but his heart is at the right place, and I value that very much. Yes, especially since Luigi Cozzi is also not the most coherent storyteller, which is a problem in a lot of his movies, where, if you just look away for 1 second, it's like, hey, where we are now.
Yeah, but I do like some of the general concepts. Like, Lou Ferrigno as Hercules is perfect.
It works. It
works because he is built like a Greek mythology character.
I mean, he's also the reason why this movie is not rated R, because, of course, he himself is a big Hercules fan and also a big Sinbad fan, and this is also why he loved doing these movies, besides, of course, earning money with them. But he's also like a big family man. Like, he's, you might see him like big, muscular. Okay, yeah, he wants to slaughter himself through the movies, but no, he's basically like he has a big heart, and he wanted to that kids also can watch these movies and get the same fascination and love for the mythological characters as when he did when he was young.
And that big heart and niceness is the reason why Arnold defeated him. Because Arnold took advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Also, they really did him dirty for pumping iron to send him to New York to do the preparation while everybody else was in Venice. So he didn't have like all the other bodybuilders there, where he didn't have this competitiveness where he worked out. So this was they really fucked him over. I mean, Search to Prey, they fucked more over. But yeah,
they screwed him over. But again, he's like, he was taking advantage of a lot of situations, And Lou was such a great guy when it comes to meeting people and stuff. At least at that time, and him being a family man and wanting to make this movie a family-friendly affair goes against what you saw the year before with Arnold doing Conan.
And it was also not what Canon wanted, so they had to rewrite the script a lot. I'm pretty sure in the original script, Seuss didn't kept it in his pants. I'm 100% sure of that.
And we know how Zeus gets around.
Yeah, and Hercules would have at least betted 3 women: Cassiopeia, Circe, and Ariadne.
He would have gotten Sybil Danning too, even if she was the villain.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sybil Danning. This movie's casting is way better than it comes across in the movie, sadly. You have so many awesome names in it. I mean, of course, for American audience, firstly, it's like Lou Ferrigno. Like, one of the big stars of Pumping Iron, amazing bodybuilder, fantastic guy. He was able to portray all his childhood heroes, the Hulk, Sinbad, Hercules. Very happy was able to do that. But then you also have Brett Harris, a US American bodybuilder, who moved to Europe and was like a big star, like in Germany and Austria and everywhere. Brett Harris portrayed Hercules in 1961 himself. So it's very cool that he came back here and he played King Augeas, the father of Cassiopeia. He's also very famous here for his Commissar X movies, which were awesome Grimmies, Euro Grimmies. And he was also Mr. Dynamite, which is also a fantastic German movie, probably nobody in the US has ever heard. It's basically a German version of James Bond. Bret Hare is a big legend over here. And then, of course, we have Sibylle Dunning, which I'm very happy to say she and I are born at the same place on this earth. We're both born in Rieden-Innkreis in Upper Austria. And also the other villain, of course, Miners, is also an Austrian, William Berger. So everybody who's evil here is Austrian.
And he's done a lot of Italian movies.
Yeah, Western.
Spaghetti westerns and stuff.
Western. And yeah, he fucked everything in this world. Didn't matter if he had a dick or a cunt, like, he got him all.
He ain't care.
Yeah, he fucked everything.
And I thought he was pretty good as a villain, all things saying.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't get enough of him. Like, we saw him in the beginning when he took over to became king. And then we see him mostly in the background talking with Daedalus, played by Eva Robbins. And it's like another character that we didn't get enough of. We only see her when she's coming up with these mechanical playthings for her to take out Hercules. But I'm like, there's so much more that this character can do. Especially going based off of Greek mythology.
Yeah, and he's fucking William Berger. Like, he's one of the best villains next to Klaus Kinski in the spaghetti western genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that fantastic. And talking about spaghetti western, there's also a very small role, totally unnecessary because he's also an awesome actor, Gianni Garco, Satana, also next to Django, one of the most famous spaghetti western characters. So he's totally underused.
Yeah,
and
like you said, the casting is really good, but it's a bit underwhelming when you really watch things and you're like, there's so much more that these characters could have been.
Yeah, or like Bobby Rhodes is also in there. We know him from the horror movie Demons, where he plays the pimp. Here he plays King Xenodama, and he's there with Gypsy when Lou
he parted the mountains.
He divides Europe from Africa, and it's also so funny that the African king has like all the white slaves.
He got white slaves and a white woman on his side. I'm like, good lord, how you king of Africa? Where is the African queen? And the thing is, like, Siri tried to build it up like he had to fight her to get to the chariot to fight him, and it's like, well, we'll just part the thing, get the river open, and that's it. I'm like, that's all we gonna see of him? What?
Yeah, Bobby Rhodes is also such a nice actor. In Demons he was hilarious. So it's like also we see way too little of him. There's so many fantastic actors in there, and the movie doesn't really take advantage of the casting.
I feel like this is the case where when you have such a talented cast, you need a little extra time on the film.
Yeah.
Like the runtime was like an hour and 49 minutes.
I think 95 minutes or something.
Yeah, and it felt like with all
95 minutes,
all these people, and like we needed a couple more scenes in there to flush them out.
So that's really this. But apparently they had so many scenes on the editing floor that they made a sequel out of it.
And it makes me wonder, because of the whole switching from rated R to the PG-13, it's like a lot of stuff was left on the floor. What's up,
or not even shot, Hey,
what's up, bro?
Circumstances. It's really, like I said, it's still a fucking entertaining movie. But it could have been so much more.
It definitely could have. They and again, when you look at the circumstances of Greek mythology, I felt like they could have added a bit more to it.
Yeah.
With Hercules' character. We know Hercules is the son of Zeus, but Zeus gets around all the time, so he's got lots of sons.
Let's just say, if the Greek gods existed, chances are there's a little bit of Zeus in all of us.
Yeah. They just lucky that Kratos wasn't around to slaughter them all.
Yeah, I love this one meme is where they show like this big book of Greek mythology, and then Greek mythology, if Zeus would kept this in his pants.
So what's outside of the scene where they was going through the darkness with the what's some of your favorite scenes in the film?
I mean, still the fight with the bear.
The fight with the bear. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I like how Hercules is conflicted with himself because he's talking to his stepdad and he's so powerful that even he feels like he's an anomaly within on Earth. So he's working taking trees and chopping wood and stuff like that, and his father is being attacked by a bear. And the bear just came up on the father and just straight mauled him. And the father yelled out Hercules' name. Hercules came, saw that he was down, the bear, and he just went to work.
Yeah, and especially when his father died, and it's like, well, bear. And he threw him into outer space.
He threw him into the cosmos, man.
Beyond the ether.
He became a star.
He became a whole star sign, it's just. I think it's one of these scenes where you have to see to believe.
It is funny because Pete Rock posted that a couple of weeks ago, and that's what made me like, let's talk this film.
Yeah, it's like this is one of the scenes that we can talk about it for hours. This scene alone, but it wouldn't do it justice.
It was like Lou had to put that in the contract that he had to beat up a bear after Arnold did his Hercules film.
Yeah. The funny thing also is, of course, that the mixture of stock footage and a guy in a costume, which is, even for Italian 80s movie standards, way too noticeable.
And then one of my biggest gripes though is for science fiction fantasy, they sure have a lot of shots in space.
Yeah.
And you start to wonder, is it nighttime or is it just space? Because King Minos is talking to Daedalus on a rocky, like it's either space or something. You can see all the planets and stuff in the background in terms of the large stars, and it's like, man, this too spacey for me with how it's shot.
It's that's the paradox about it. It's too spacey, but it's also for that too little in space.
It just feels like certain shots just don't make sense. Like I can see the whole Zeus thing, because they're watching from the heavens, so it makes sense. But when Minos and Daedalus is doing it, it's like you got two different sides of them watching Hercules travels and trying to interject all these trials and tribulations that he has to go through. It feels too much of the same.
It is. It's and then, like I said, it's not the most coherent storyline. It's not well edited. It's just like it's like you're having like all the puzzle. You have like 3 awesome puzzles that would be 3 awesome puzzles by itself, and then you mix everything together, and then you wonder why the pieces don't fit.
Yeah, it's like a jumbled mess.
Yeah, it is a mess. It is one glorious mess.
Entertaining crap is what most people say. It's entertaining crap.
Because usually I'm a person, I love Italian movies and I watch them because I truly think they're quality. Because I appreciate the acting, I appreciate the way of Italian storytelling, I appreciate the amount of quality effects they put with a very little budget. Hercules is one of the few movies that I would consider guilty pleasure.
I see that. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of good pleasures, you know.
It's
like this film, as watching it, I never felt bored with it.
Yeah.
That's a huge quality for me, because if I'm bored watching this film, then it's not doing its job. And while the storyline is a bit muddled and it looks cheesy, it still keeps you entertained. You know, Lou Ferrigno's presence has such charisma, you know, just from body presence. Because let's be honest, the English voice was not his.
It's not his voice.
I was like, he's talking way too clean for that to be Lou.
Yeah, they also did the same with Sinbad, and I understand it. I totally understand it. But still, like, you know, his presence, and also another thing he's also mentioned is charisma. He's just, you know, he's a guy. It's impossible not to like him.
Yeah. And every scene you see him in, even when he's angry, it's like he's never real angry. Outside of the bear part. Like he's never like angry to the point where he becomes a savage, you know, beast that just running through all the villains.
Yeah, okay, and also like in the beginning, you know, when they gave him all the labors to prove that he's worthy to protect Cassiopeia, and it's just like, oh, we have one more labor. Okay.
Another thing about this film is that they really like to throw all these, you know, hurdles on Hercules, just to see, you know, to test his strength and intelligence, you know, and it's a part of the whole Hercules lore. You know, he goes through these trials,
the 12 levels,
to not only test his strength but his intelligence as well. You know, that's the one thing I didn't like about God of War 3, the video game, is that they kind of made Hercules dumbfounded a bit. You know, I'm like, nah, that's not Hercules for me. And they got Kevin Sorbo to do his voice. I'm like, fuck, why the hell you do? Kevin Sorbo was the Hercules I grew up watching the TV series on. You know, so like some iterations of Hercules, they don't really like get the justification of what the character is.
They probably booked him via cameo.
You know, so but I was like, I liked how they utilize his strength and also try and test his intelligence.
Yeah, and you can truly see that it is a labor of love for Lou Ferrigno. Like, he really enjoys himself being Hercules.
The man's a Greek god, man. I mean, it was perfect casting right from the start. Like Lou Ferrigno as Hercules,
and also, of course, you know, all the things he had to overcome, like with his hearing disability. That's also why, of course, he always has a little bit hair over the ears, so you can't see the hearing aid. In Sinbad, sometimes it's still visible, but yeah, it's, you know, Lou Ferrigno is one of the undertold success stories. You know, he never became this big, like, A-list movie star, but guy's never been out of work. And he's also in the Conan the Adventurer TV series in an episode.
Yeah, that one episode that he was in. I remember seeing clips of that.
And one of the greatest movie franchises of all time, Sharknado.
We still gotta do that. We gotta talk that film series during Shark Week, man, or something.
And of course, like, I was laughing in New Hulk when he and Stan Lee are the securities. Like, that's one of the good scenes of the. I think.
And that's where like Lou gained his most fame as the Incredible Hulk. Like,
and rightfully so. I mean, like, back in the day, you didn't use CGI to get the Hulk. You used steroids. Like,
gamma steroids. Let's talk about one of the female characters that we got to see the most of, and that's Cersei. Cersei. We got to see her the most of the three female leads.
And the thing is that she would be a way better woman for Hercules, because as we see her so much, we really grow on her. And And her sacrifice is also love. I also love the explanation when she loses her power because she's in love and because somebody enchanted the enchantress.
And we don't even get to see the goddess of love.
Yeah. They mention Aphrodite a lot though.
Yeah, they mention her, but we don't see her. I was like, shit.
I mean, we've seen her, like, basically, in my opinion, Sybil Danning, of course, is Aphrodite, but she was not portraying it.
She wasn't portraying it.
Yeah.
But like you said, I feel like because we got this to see her the most, we do get, more accustomed to her character, that she feels more like
deserving of being the love interest. Yeah.
Yeah, and her sacrifice is like, damn, man, they were such a good pair.
Yeah,
throughout. It's like
it almost felt like she was dying, and with her last words is like, "Enjoy fucking Cassiopeia, bye."
And she said it so casually, like,
I know,
like she's dying, but yet she didn't feel like she was like in pain.
Yeah, that. It was really like it was also like a little. I'm like, she deserved a little bit better, at least.
Especially after we first see her, she's an old hag witch.
Yeah.
And then she drank the blood of Hercules and she becomes young and youthful.
Which actually I think is like, is she evil? No, actually she's a really nice character.
Yeah, I felt like out of all of them, I got connected with her the most. And
yes. And I think that's also a critic to the writing or how the screenplay was adapted or changed, is that Cassiopeia doesn't get enough scenes that we really care for her.
It was like Hercules was able to make the deal. It's like watch me do this, and then you're gonna remove your mask, and then we're gonna kiss. And then next thing you know, they got interrupted, and she's being captured, and we don't really see much of her throughout the film outside of her being held hostage and at the end of the film. King
Man was the cock block.
We really don't get a connection with her. So it felt like, again, this movie has these characters, but they really don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. And it's because it's sad, because also she was portrayed by a very talented actress, Mircea D'Angelo, and very beautiful.
Yeah, all three women had different qualities about them that made them stand out.
Exactly. It's like
you had a redhead, a blonde, and a brunette.
Yeah.
I mean, Hercules could have laid all three of them and just said, movie over.
And every normal Hercules would have. But it's also the thing, like, Sybil Danning really wanted to fuck Lou Ferrigno, but Lou Ferrigno is like, no, I have a wife, and he's like really true to his wife, and
he couldn't separate his family life with acting.
Exactly. It was not like Arnold did it, where he would read Sonia, where he's like, I'm gonna fuck Brigitte Nielsen, since I'm not married to my girlfriend, Maria Shriver. Like, I mean, it's not like he didn't fuck women when they were married, but as we know. But Arnold was always very able to separate work from pleasure, and that also from the marriage. Well, Lou Ferrigno truly is an honest, caring, and loyal man.
And you can't fault that with him.
Exactly.
That's who he is, and he felt that, the thing with Sybil, he didn't want to do, and it kind of like strained their relationship to the point where she didn't really care working with him because of that. And she kind of trashed the movie during the promos. It was like, yeah, I did not get along with Lou. I don't like him and stuff like that. I'm like, damn.
You know how the bitches are. Like, but usually under normal circumstances, I would say, Lou Ferrigno, why did you do this? This movie should have been rated R. It could have been a sexual, mythological, gory pleasure. but he did it for the right reasons, because he wanted kids to. If he would have done it and to say, no, I wanted the movie makes more money, and I think we can make more money being PG, I would say, well, fuck this. But he truly had like a noble goal. So he truly wanted that kids can enjoy it, because it would have made more money being rated R at that point of time. Even though I don't agree with him, I can honor and respect the purity of his intention.
Yeah. And when you think about like rated R, I mean PG-13 and canon really don't go hand in hand. You know, because we watch a lot of canon movies, and that's strictly rated R.
Yeah. Bless canon.
Oh yeah, I still say that's what's missing from today. Like just a movie studio that was low budget but yet ballsy as hell. They did whatever they wanted to do, and they had so many films from the American Ninja films. You know, they even had Superman, for Christ's sake. You know, the Superman 4. Less said about that, the better. Chuck Norris, you know, all the Chuck Norris films.
Yeah, those are glorious.
But yeah, I feel like Hercules.
And ninjas. Lots of ninjas.
I feel like the Hercules film, and I know when I mentioned this to the Comic Con crew, like, oh my god, you're talking that terrible film. But you know, it's entertaining, and for that, it is a guilty pleasure, because
I mean, there's a reason I have like a special edition in it with booklet and everything.
Like Lou Ferrigno is a star, and he does have this charm and charisma about him that he just owns.
Look at it, And like I said, this movie, it looks way more epic in the stills than it does like in motion.
And we could have gotten some better action sequences, like that was the thing, and there wasn't really like a challenging bad guy.
I mean, it's always good to look at Sybil Danning. I also love the costumes, like the costume design was, especially for the women. Like those were fitted for the body. Like they truly took a measure of those.
It's an entertaining film. You know, I can't really say a lot about it, but I just say that I just enjoyed it for what it was.
If it would be like a plot summary, it's like, well,
it's hard to really describe.
It's like Zeus is not fucking around, but creating the perfect specimen, like put everything in one unit. Says, of course, what is the perfect human? It's the golden era of bodybuilding. So, of course, and then it gets to Earth, like being adopted and shit. Things happen. It's entertaining, and then it ends.
And the fact that he lost both his step-parents so quickly, like, bro, he gets older and then they both die. I'm like,
we're on a tight schedule here, like
we got to keep it moving. The step-parents got to go. We got to get Hercules' journey going forward. And we don't even see that other guy that was there, you know, that came and said, Hercules, your mother's in trouble. He came and went. He was a non-existent character.
Yeah. The boy who cried wolves. Bears. And it's like plot-wise, the plot is totally forgettable. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just it's flashy. The use of colors is great. It looks a little bit too flat in points, but it's watching awesome actors doing awesome things and being half naked. Like,
you know, Lou Ferrigno was having the time of his life, and you could just tell it. You know, from body posture and everything. Like, you get to be the person to part mountains. You know, like just to separate a mountain. Like, damn, Hercules, badass. But it was entertaining for what it was.
Yeah, and it totally fits Hercules. I mean, you already mentioned that even though I also like the movie, he doesn't really fit Sinbad so much because as Sinbad you would have more like an athletic guy, like a leaner guy, but
he just
also
to me he would have been a perfect foil for Sinbad, like this Herculean character that Sinbad is having a hard time defeating, and he has to outwit him and outspeed him.
Yeah, or I think he would have been like he would have been a good noble henchman of the villain that in the end sees that he's following the wrong master, so he can have a redemption. Because I can't really see Lou as being like a truly bad guy.
And you can't fault Lou for wanting to play Sinbad. He loves Sinbad, you know. And,
exactly.
And it follows the sand and the sandals and sorcery mythology. So, and
I rather live in a world where we have a Lou Ferrigno Sinbad movie than in one where we don't have one. So,
and you know that's a movie for another time. But
it also we have an awesome female bodybuilder in there, and she's hot.
But I know I am excited for next week's episode.
Yes,
because we decided on what we're going to talk about next week.
Yes, because as much as this week we're like, oh, we don't even talk about the plot is very important in next week's movie.
Exactly, and it's pretty much a film where you're on the run constantly.
Yes,
and we're talking about the Warriors. Warriors, come out to play. You had those bottles there the whole
time. I'm not proud to say that they're here way longer than they should. I really have to recycle it.
Nah, I think you had that shit there on purpose, man. You like, I'm gonna bring up the Warriors and bring out the.
Let's go with that. Yeah, let's go with that. let's not say that I'm too lazy to put out the trash for 1 week. It's like, let's go with that with there on purpose.
It just makes perfect sense, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Warriors, man. It's another great film that.
Based on Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's a film that gained a lot of traction over the years, because at the time when it came out, it was big, but it wasn't as big as it was. And then more years went by, the more it got popular to the point where they did a video game on it.
And the comic book series.
And then I love watching the guys get back together and ride the subway train a couple years back. that was an awesome moment that they did that.
Yeah, I can't wait to rewatch it, because this week I received like the new remastered version, I think from a 4K or 2K master. So, but on Blu-ray, not on 4K disc. So I'm very curious how that one turned out, because I think this is a movie that might be improved. You know, there's certain movies where I like, give me the quality as bad as possible, but the Warriors, I'm like, hey, I really want to see it like in high definition. So very curious how that will turn out, and can't wait to. I'm gonna watch it already tomorrow. I'm gonna order pizza and just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I can't wait to set that up and get to next week, because I watched that movie so many times as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, so anything you have? Well, I forgot. I keep forgetting your YouTube page is private. I swear, man, I miss your live streams, your hauls, and some of the random videos you did. I miss all that, bro.
Yeah, I'm in exile here.
It's really sad that we don't have BB content.
But it's just with the change of laws that you have to have an impressum, and you have to put your personal data with address, telephone number out there. If you have like an internet presence where you are stating opinions and reviewing movies and talking about comics and stating an opinion, like I totally get it. When you earn money from it, when you're doing it as a little living, because then you have like a company address and stuff, but just for doing it as a hobby, I'm not renting. I'm not renting like a room, so I can just use the address. And you can't even use a postal box. It's you have to have an address where people can visit.
Oh, that sucks, man.
That's that's Europe in a nutshell. Like, we have a lot of fantastic things, but others are like, everything is very much regulated.
Yeah, man, but at least you show up on my page and get to these talks, man. Oh, nice.
It's a good memory. Like, what was my first movie on big screen? I think.
Yeah, my memory is shot. I can't even.
I think my first movie might have been The Little Mermaid. Was before Aladdin, or?
Huh?
The Little Mermaid was before Aladdin, or? It was for sure a Disney movie, the first one.
Yeah, I think it was 89 or 90 or 91, one of them.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Because I remember seeing both in cinema, yeah.
I remember seeing what was Land Before Time in the theater.
That one I've seen on TV, and that movie destroyed me.
It's a record. It's a record. Them Don Bluth films were very rough.
Yeah.
They were scary and rough, but they were good.
Exactly. It's also what is the one called with Madame Mim, the Secret of Nim.
Oh yes,
Madame Bisbee and the Secret of Nim. Like that, I love that movie.
I love Secret of Nim. Like, I rewatched it last year and I was like, damn, this movie's still good. Still holds up. We gotta talk that film.
Yeah, about it. I mean, of course, this is not the Don Bluth, but there's also one movie that I watched way too early. Like, and in the past they thought, hey, it's a cartoon, so we're gonna air it on Saturday for kids to watch. Was Watership Down. And I think I watched Watership Down 6-year-old. It's like, oh cool, there's bunnies.
No. there was some very scary, like, cartoon films, from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, the Black Cauldron may have gotten a lot of crap on it, but that movie was pretty intense for what it had.
Yeah. I remember Disney doing good movies.
Yeah,
long time.
And it was a flop in the theaters.
Yeah, sadly, but yeah, but also it's like, I think it's also not what you expect going into to watch a Disney movie.
And then we've talked this before, but we gotta do the Ralph Bakshi Lords of the Rings, because that was a nightmare fueled.
Yeah, that was also one that I had nightmares like from the orcs when I first watched it.
Yeah, that was like crazy. And the animation was just top notch.
Oh yeah, and also the soundtrack by Leonard Rosenbaum or something. Absolutely loved the orc, the orc march with the orc chorus when they're marching to Helm's Death. That's so epic. So.
Yeah. Well, we get to end the stream for an hour for once.
Yeah, I mean, there was no plot to talk about. It was just having fun.
So I'm gonna go ahead, get me something to eat, and then hop on the Retro Nerd Girls stream.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Definitely go sub her up, man. She's been doing a lot of great
fantastic
live
videos,
content.
And chances are when you're subbing up, she's doing just live. she's live all the time now.
All the time, and I love it, man. She's very
fantastic.
Awesome, and she's doing her cartoon stream right now, so I got to jump there.
Yeah.
I remember doing that Saturday morning cartoon stream a couple years back, and
there was a lot of fun. I remember that. It was on Saturday. It was on Saturday still. That chatting with the community, that was cool. Is there anything planned from the Comic Hall crew?
No show tomorrow or next week. I think we'll probably be back to start of next month. That free comic book day weekend. Did you see that Free Comic Book Day Red Sonja cover?
I think I have it on my list. I've seen. They're doing. The thing is, they're doing a new one. And
I'm glad Walter Giovanni's doing the art on it.
I know, but I'm not sure about the writer.
He sounds interesting.
No, it's a she. And the thing is, I'm alarmed when a writer comes to Marvel these days. It's like, oh no.
Well, it's a European.
I know, doesn't mean
Norway.
Shit. We have stupid cunts here too. Like, that's not exclusively American. No, I'm not alarmed by the fact that she's a woman, but I'm very much alarmed by how she introduced being the writer of Red Sonja. You know, talking this, just this very basic. Oh, I love the character because it's like where you can totally see that's like something that you can mention about every character. So it's like, well, do you know their character truly? Well, that's what I want to know.
Well, we're definitely going to give her the test.
Yes. I will give everybody a fair chance. I gave Mirka Andolfo a fair chance, and she's from Europe too. But
I didn't like the first issue, so I knew I wasn't gonna.
Actually, I liked the first issue, but the second one was they went from there to.
Like I kind of saw it coming. I saw it. You could see it like when you read an issue and like, I'm not sure if I like this direction. So when you read issues 2 and 3, you're like, oh man, this. Nope.
Yeah, that one is like I give it a chance, but this time, and you know what the thing that sucks is that issue number 1 would have some fantastic covers. Yeah. There's a Mike Mignola cover that I need to get. Then of course the Shannon Mayer cover is beautiful. So
I would hate for the book to be crappy when you got Walter Giovanni's art.
Yeah,
because he is a great artist.
He's fantastic.
I love Red Sonja artwork.
Yeah, Walter Giovanni is one of the most iconic modern Red Sonja artists, which says a lot because he overcome a lot of obstacles, like making the art for not the best writers in comic book history, and I'm one that actually enjoyed Gail Simone's run. Because it was a nice story, it was just a different kind of Red Sonja. However, her writing really got worse in the last years, since she's basically only living on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm not really excited for anything new on her.
Yeah, she's doing a Red Sonja novel. I'm pitying the 10 people that are gonna buy that.
Like, I felt like her best years are long gone.
Yeah, sadly, and because she would be a decent writer, you know. On DC, I really enjoyed her Secret 6 run. That was very entertaining, that one.
Her Secret 6 and Birds of Prey were really good.
Exactly, but then she started being an internet persona. And totally lost the focus on writing. So, and that's the thing. Like, no writer can just half-ass a script in the comic will be good. It's the same with Jim Sub. Jim Sub is a fantastic writer, but his last Red Sonja books were shite. Hey, Slippery Reader, baby ass.
And just speaking on the new Red Sonja series, it's still a crime that they won't give Eric Burnham a shot at writing the ongoing Red Sonja.
Oh, that would be so. I mean, also, I don't know with Eric. I think Eric Burnham also moved to greener pastures where he earns way more money than writing comics. So I don't even know if he would be in for a long-term writing. If it would also be like a labor of love to him. But of course, I would really want him to write on because he knows the Hyborian Age.
He knows the Hyborian Age like he knows Ghostbusters, and he's perfect for it. He saved the Amy Chu run. That shit was garbage until he came on as co-writer and actually made it better.
You always mention it like I just can't get into Amy Chu. I can't even start and get to the point where Burnham takes over, but he did a lot of fantastic one-shots, like the Age of Chaos crossover, one of the best crossovers ever with Red Sonja. And it's a real pity. Also, it's like get fucking Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon's recent Conan novel, which luckily Conan is public domain in Europe, so for a Swiss publisher, he writes now Conan novels. And the Conan novel was fantastic.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And Chuck Dixon is a fantastic writer, and he can spit out a great story on command. I really think his talent is wasted, being mostly paid for, by crowdfunded books now. I really think that at this point I'm not even buying anything crowdfunded anymore. Just first of all, the shipping is just ridiculous, and it's way overpriced for getting like one issue, and then you have to wait 1.5 years or a few months.
That's why I didn't jump on the Elvira one, because I'm like, sooner or later it's gonna be put on stores, through Dynamite. So I didn't really jump on that. I'll just wait for it to come on out.
The last Elvira Kickstarter comic was horrible. I got it from my girlfriend because she's a big Elvira fan, and it was just yeah. Hey, K-pop Chunk. The thing is, there was basically just a hate comic against conservative actors. Like, it was against Kevin Sorbo, then the guy who played Superman, and
Dean Cain.
And the thing is, of course you can be against their opinion, but they're so irrelevant for the mainstream that making a comic that ridicules them is punching down. And
it's a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like punching down. It's like, it would be different to make something against big A-listers or something, It's always...
All we want is a good, entertaining...
Yes. And this states also the...
And Elvira is an entertaining personality on her own. She don't need all that, conservative bashing and stuff like that. Just
exactly.
Give us good, entertaining...
She should be above that. She should be really above that. But also Avalone is not the best writer.
Yeah.
So, I think... there's some good crowdfunded comic books, but I like... Especially the shipping to Europe, then I have to pay customs. And for a single issue, I don't want to pay them... 50 to 80 euros, which is basically 1-to-1 that in the dollars.
Well, all right, man. We're gonna get ready to sign off. Next week we'll be talking to Warriors, so make sure you tune in for that. We're gonna have a blast, and I will be back next week. I know Biggie Shaq will be on, so I'll be back on there. Nice. And the Comic Call crew in 2 weeks. So I'll be around on YouTube. So with that in mind, this is your boy Sean. VV.
Have a savage weekend.
Later, y'all. Almost hit the wrong button.